Happy December. I am excited to be here today. I wanted to jump in and kickstart the last 31 days of December with some conscious activities, if you will. All right. So, with that, trying to get things squared away here. And I think we're good. All right. So, as I was mentioning, I'm excited to really jump in and hopefully create an inspiration to help motivate and their consciousness, their creativity, tap into our inner self, so to speak. We have 31 days left of the year. And what better time to start doing some reflections and going inward and navigating where we've been, where we're at, and set some foundations for where we want to go. So, right now, we are experiencing the ninth hexagram, the ninth gene key, and the hexagram in the I Ching. And we are coming up on a new moon. Friday, Saturday, at the end of the week. So there's a lot of things going on energetically. There's a lot going on emotionally in all of our lives. There's just a lot going on. So I really wanted to create that practice and hold space for other people to create a practice to tap in and use whatever tools you already have at your fingertips as the new year kicks off. I am diving back in full time. Well, not full time. That's not the right words. But I'm diving back into my coaching practice after taking a bit of a hibernation to focus on my new baby and my new digs where we moved earlier this year. So things are looking up. Things are settling back down, and I'm excited. So I wanted to kind of kick this off, right? So my goal is to show up each day and navigate what this practice looks like for me and to inspire others to figure out what it looks like for them. And so for the next 31 days, I may talk about some of the tools I use to tap into my consciousness, different modalities that I use, different techniques in my coaching, and really just help inspire you to do what lights you up. So right now, like I mentioned, we're going through the ninth gene key. The ninth gene key is the shadow of inertia. Some of you may be experiencing this. Some of you may have the ninth gene key in your chart. I'm one of them. The gift is the determination. And so you may be navigating the shadows of inertia and tapping into where that's leaving you. And that could look very different for many of us. Lao Tzu, which, forgive my book here is old, but some of you may be familiar with Lao Tzu. And a famous quote of his, if you will, is that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And I think some of us get really trapped in the 1,000 miles part and not the one step part. And so many of us get caught up in what still has to happen to get to the end result and won't even take that first step because it seems so big. And then there's some of us who, are just restless. We're always moving and we don't commit to anything. And So I encourage you to tap in and see which side. Are you on the repressive side of the ninth gene key? Or are you on the reactive side? If you're experiencing the repressive side, then you maybe experience reluctance, right? Staying within familiar patterns, not really breaking out of habits that aren't serving you really anymore. You get very frustrated because you feel lazy, but really you're just tapping into your fears. You're not looking at the positive outcome that could be from just taking that first step. So I wouldn't focus on the 1,000 miles, right? Unless it's going to help you and aid you in the determination that's going to get you to where you want to be. The reactive side, like I said, is more of the restless, the fidget. You're very much an illusionist of sorts. Um, you never take time to rest and center and figure out what that next step looks like to get you further on your path. And so you find yourself frustrated and angry um, and so I encourage you, I implore you to tap into that. Are you in the shadow side of this key? And if so, do you have support to kind of help you navigate what it looks like to take that first step to get to where you want to go? And support is a big piece of it, especially when we're stuck in old habits and old patterns. But when we do navigate to the gift of determination, all those little small steps create larger ripple effects. They create the momentum. Each step brings us more power. It brings us closer to the end goal. And so whether you're taking that step out of resentment, or you're taking that step out of fear or out of excitement even, you're still going to experience a new energy, right? And it may just be an amplified energy of what you're already experiencing if you're not careful. So make sure you know what it is you're going after as you take those steps. I'm just kind of pondering here. I can just sense that it may take a bit of encouragement, or you may have to just take the leap, right? There may still be some hesitations, there may be some fears, but where is there growth without a little bit of hesitation or apprehension, right? So even if you try to take that first step and it doesn't feel right, don't give up. Continue to try and make that next first step, over the next 31 days. Make it small, but make it count. And then you'll be able to find that momentum, that determination, finding what lights you up. And if you take that first step into a direction and you realize that, no, this doesn't light me up, I'm not excited about this, this is actually not what I want to do after all, then stop. Be okay with that and take another first step in another direction, right? It's all about what lights you up. As a generator in human design, I know that I am a step-by-step being. I need to follow my step-by-step to get to where I need to be. If I skip steps, I screw things up for myself. But I also have to make sure that I'm entering into situations, right? I'm entering onto a path that lights me up, that excites me, that gives me drive. And then, only then, right, if I enter into that situation and according to my strategy and authority, will I be able to navigate that with a clearer path. And then my step-by-step will get me to that end result and bring me satisfaction. But it's finding that activity. It's making sure that where you're headed is where you want to head. And if at any point during that path you decide this isn't really what I want anymore, then that's okay. Stop where you're at, reevaluate, and take the next step. And so it's really just trying to get out of your headspace. It's accepting where you're at. Meet yourself where you're at. I talk to my kids about this, just know where you're at. And it's okay to stop and go within and figure out if where you're at is where you want to be, and if not, where is it you want to be. And then let's build a plan on that, right? We'll be moving out of the 9th hexagram here pretty quick. From the ninth hexagram, we're moving into, let me see here. On Friday, we're moving into the fifth hexagram. And the fifth hexagram is going to be the shadow of impatience. It's going to be the gift of patience, and of course, the city of timelessness. And so we'll talk more about that as it comes. And so that key and that hexagram will be right in place with the new moon that's coming up. And so um, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get there. So let's see, just to kind of talk about some tools, right? So I don't know what you're armed with. Maybe you need some motivation or inspiration in various subjects or whatnot. I like to stand in front of all of my books, and I have a lot of books around me, a lot of books. And you may not actually be able to even see all of my books, but my shelves are full of books. And sometimes I stand in front of my books and I just end up picking one, right, through my intuition. And so then I may just open it to a random page, and sometimes I get a lot of inspiration from what I open my books to. So if you have a good selection of books, then maybe try that. Other things I like to do, many of you know that I read cards of all kinds. And so if you do have cards, maybe pick a card each day. And you may see me do that over the month where and we talk about it, right? We see what comes up for us. So cards are I have also some runes. So gifted to me by a mentor and dear friend. And so there are times where and ask some questions and tune in that way. Other things. So some of you may be familiar, but other things that I like to do to tap into my consciousness is, where's my camera? Drumming. So I have several drums. I love to drum and journey through my shaman practices. So there are times where I'll go into a journey and ask, a wide variety of questions to kind of better understand what my needs are, where I want to be, and kind of uncover some things that I'm really needing to dig into a little bit better. And so things that I might journey into, I might journey in to see who some of my guides are. Who do I need to work with to better understand a situation or understand some things I'm trying to uncover, right? Maybe it's what my purpose looks like, or what energy that I need to be working with. Is there a particular element I need to be focused more on? Reconnecting with my power, not just my purpose, but sometimes in a lot of us, we lose little bits and pieces of our power, right? Even our confidence along the way, depending on what we've been going through and what life's been throwing at us. And so journeys are a really good way to tap back into regaining our power and understanding situations from a different perspective. We're just giving ourselves this place to go within and observe. So journeying is one that I tap into the most. And let's see, what else? Human design, which really helps me kind of remind myself, my life experiences, right? That blueprint of what I'm here to experience in life. So, there's just so many different things, and I may even bring in more tools and tricks over the next 31 days and kind of show you a little bit more about that. And I encourage you, to do this for yourself. But if there's questions you want to throw my way, feel free to throw some questions, and I can address them on each of my videos throughout the month. And, I've been getting an influx as I did make announcements that I opened my practice, my coaching back up for, I have room for like 2 or 3 more clients earlier I guess last month. And so, I've been getting an influx and just general questions, how can you help me navigate this? Or what do you suggest, with with this particular situation. And so over the next 31 days, if there's a generic question or something that's important to you that you want me to pitch to the collective, feel free to shoot me a message, and I can talk to you one-on-one, or we'll just kind of go out and ask and see how it can empower the collective, because more times than not, when we're going through something, other people are going through something very similar, and we all benefit from some of these answers. So yeah. So I will see you tomorrow, and I hope you'll join me, and we will continue to put into practice tapping into our consciousness and really ramping up for what 22 can look like for each of us. You have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you again later.